Students of Success, Dr. Mike here. Today I want to talk about fighting off negativity, especially from other people. Now you're talking about why is it a fight? Well, what else do we fight on a daily basis? Every day with your fitness and your health, we fight off death. We fight off sickness. We do these things, maybe subconsciously, we're not really thinking about it, but every day we fight for our jobs by doing better. We fight for our relationships. But the one thing we don't fight is negativity and the negativity of others. So what I want to talk to you today is like 5 things that we can do to try to fight off negativity. And it's hard sometimes because when you go to work, you have to work with these people. It's really impossible to limit yourself all the time. You know, that's one of the techniques. But it could be a friend, it could be especially a family member. Whenever we cannot limit our time with these people or eliminating them from our life. What are some things that we can do? Now, first thing that you can do is definitely be self-aware. We can get drawn into this without even being aware and become negative ourselves. Why is it that so many people are negative? You know, I have a friend that I talk to a lot on a daily basis that has a job that is surrounded by negative people. I mean, extremely negative. Negative to the point where every word out of their mouth is something wrong or bad, and there is nothing good at all. Couldn't say a good word, if it hit him on the head. Why is this? It's like negativity is the default setting, and people go negative all the time because it's easy. Think about it. How easy is it to just complain about stuff? Complain about the rain, complain about traffic, complain about your spouse, complain about your boss, complain. There's no work involved. It's the default setting. It's the default setting for all us humans. The thing is, successful people are able to fight off that default setting and think about things that are positive. But you have to be aware of this because it will draw you in and you'll start agreeing. And the number one thing that will happen to you when you start agreeing with them, it like perpetuates it and keeps it moving forward and you become that go-to person. So be aware first of the situation all the time, if it's positive or negative. And be aware if you're getting sucked into that situation on a daily basis and living that way. The second thing, this is what I do and what I tell this person to do, is once you're self-aware, your job is not to change these people because you can't. You can't change them. That setting for a lot of people is so ingrained. It's like a groove in their life. It's become part of their personality. So what you need to do is sit back, watch them, and just laugh at them internally, and just be like, my God, how awful would it be to live a life like this? What must it be when you get up in the morning, whenever you go to work, when you go home at night, when you look at every situation, how awful must it be to always see the bad in everything? I mean, imagine living that life where there's no happiness in your life at all. The only happiness is whenever you get a chance to complain about something. And the only thing you can do so you don't get sucked into it is just look at them and imagine if you were living your life like this and just laugh and say, what a loser. Like, you are ruining and destroying your life, but you're not bringing me down with you. So just don't respond. Just be yourself, be aware, and just internally laugh, not out loud. Me, sometimes I do laugh out loud just because that's me. I'm like, dude, you are just absolutely screwed. It's your mentality, the way you think. Get away from me. The third one is limit your exposure. So once you're aware of it and you can laugh at it, at times you have to be able to limit that exposure. How do we limit that? If it is your job, don't eat lunch with them. Walk different routes. Do everything you can do to try to limit your exposure to them. If it's a family member, Limit the amount of time that you do spend, because whenever you do spend more time with them, even if you don't want to be negative, and in your situations today, if you're listening to this, be aware of this and see if this is happening. It's called tacit approval. You might not have never heard that word before, but I can tell you understand the definition of it. Tacit approval is whenever you know that person is saying something wrong. You know it's negative, you know that it's just bitching, moaning, crying, complaining, but to be easy and just to not have to deal with the situation because maybe you're not a confrontational person, you agree with them. You say, yeah, yeah, shaking your head. What that's doing to that person is giving them validation for their negativity. And when you become that validator of their negativity, who do you think they're going to run to every time they have something negative to say? They're going to run to you. Think of it yourself. Maybe you're the negative one. Maybe you have something to bitch, moan, cry, and complain about. Is there one person that you know will listen to what you have to say? You think they care because they're always agreeing? Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's terrible. I know it's terrible. Are they just giving you tacit approval and wish you weren't even around? Because a lot of these negative people have zero self-awareness. They have zero self-awareness of how they are. They have zero self-awareness that the people that they're bitching, moaning, crying, complaining to absolutely want nothing to do with them, but they have to be around because they can't limit their exposure. The problem is that whenever you give that tacit approval, it's like taking a little bit of poison every single time. And then you take that poison with you in your life. And a lot of times you bring it home to your family, and you start to be the one that's bitching, moaning, crying, complaining. And if the other person in your relationship doesn't say, whoa, enough, stop, it can end up becoming like a disease in the house. So you have to be self-aware. The next one is, all this comes from awareness, is just be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for your positive mindset. Being aware of the situation in the world out here. Because people, when they're not aware of this, it impacts this. But if you're aware of it, you can know when to limit it and block it from here. But you need to be able to be grateful that this in here and this is going to control out here. They can throw anything at you, and it just bounces off of you. Bounces off you like you're bulletproof. And you can actually even turn it into a game and actually make it kind of fun. I mean, every time somebody starts their bitching, moaning, crying, and complaining, just get a little smirk on your face. Yeah, boy. And sometimes you say, man, it would really suck to have the situations that you're in. Sometimes you have to just say that to stop the validation and stop them running to you. And they'll do it. They'll stop doing it. Sometimes, but it's hard for a lot of people to be able to do it because they're afraid of causing conflict or people being upset or being eliminated from the group. Well, to me, my mindset is the most important. I am the most important person in my life, because if I'm not, and I let everybody else control me, then that negative stuff is going to impact me, which will impact everybody else. So be grateful for the positive mindset that you keep. And finally, the last one is, when those negative thoughts do come into your head, you need to confront them immediately. Confront them. Don't allow those things to justify actions in your life. Understand that there are going to be things in our life that come at us, but we get to decide. I talk a lot about choice. You get to choose what something means to you. You get to choose, basically, your reality. There is no one reality. Our realities are based upon our past, our experiences, in our beliefs, and whatever we believe at that moment. So think about yourself as having like a superpower. When these negative things keep coming at you and you keep deflecting them away, that's about the top 5% in our population that can do that. Most people are, as Zig Ziglar would say, a SNIOP. susceptible to the negative influences of other people. Is every time somebody come at you with a negative, statement, a problem, an issue, a bitch, a moan, a cry, complain, do you fall right into the trap and agree with them and be able to even bring up things in your past? And it's terrible, and you can't allow it to happen. So what we need to do is, main thing is be self-aware all day long. Just be aware of what is coming at you. And if we're aware of what's coming at us, we're able to reflect it a little bit better. And just think, all of my stuff is based upon there are only so many days left in your life. We have a limited amount of time. At some point in time, the plug's going to be pulled, and we're done. We're done. The only guarantee in this life is that we're going to die. Are you going to die with the tank empty, or are you going to die with a full tank of gas, wishing you would have done all these things? And how many of these negative people pulled you down on a daily basis? And are you going to look back and say, man, I wish I would not have spent so much time with that person? They really destroyed my mentality. You have to take control of your mind. It's the only thing that we do have control over. Say we can't control our days, we can't control the limit of our life, but we can control our mindset, and it is very difficult. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But it's not. That's why you see so many people bitching, moaning, crying, and complaining on a daily basis about everything. So if you want to live your best life, like I always say, live your best life today so tomorrow will be better. Avoid negative people. And if you can't limit your time with them and you can't avoid them, use your mind to be able to deflect as much of it as humanly possible. I believe you can do it. And if you believe that you can do it, you can. It all comes down to belief. So go out and live your best life today, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.